Authenticity is a little bit of a buzzword, but it can mean different things to different people.
Right.
So what does authenticity mean to you?
I probably don't agree with most of the buzzword meanings of it now. It doesn't mean to me. We'll start there. Well, I think women, a lot of us are scared to have a strong girlfriend because we don't want to fight. We don't want pettiness. There's just like, I don't have time for that. My life is so full. I don't have time for your needs, you know? And so we put up walls and we only want to do fun stuff. Yeah. I would love if people would line up and I could tell them where I think they need to grow up. Could you set that up for me? I crumbled for a lot of years because I needed to crumble to get to a spot where I could grow my strength, grow my resilience, my anti-fragility to life. Or I think people put their feelings on their personality and their identity. And our feelings are not either. Like being impatient is actually not even a personality. You allow yourself to feel irritated when you're waiting. Like, that's actually not a personality. That's just you choosing to be irritated. If you don't know yourself and you don't know your own needs and boundaries, then you're not going to be a very good friend to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's hard to build anything.
So I've heard it a lot. People who say, all I need is Jesus. What do you have to say about that belief system?
I have a nice answer and I have a straightforward SeaJay answer. If the mess is big, if you're falling in a ditch, just don't stay in the ditch. Just get up and know we've all been in the ditch. And sometimes for some, it takes longer to get out. So that's a big reason when I started to just be honest.
Hey, friend, and Happy New Year. I'm so excited to have you back for this very first episode of 2026. And we're starting off with a bang. If it's your first time checking out the Living Beautifully podcast, I want to welcome you here. This is a little bit of a unique episode because we have a really fun guest joining us this week. I'm Tanya and I'm your host. I'm a life coach. I help women with inner healing and transformative work. What an exciting way to start a new year. We are joined with SeaJay Liebscher. SeaJay is one of the founding pastors of Jesus Culture. She leads the women's ministry there called Authentic You. She also is part of the Authentic You podcast, which you can find on all podcasting platforms. We are going to add the link in the description box for you so you can go check it out. She has been my personal pastor since 2014, end of 2014. And in the last few years, I had the privilege of serving her and the ministries that she was pastoring at Jesus Culture. And I've been able to call her friend. She's just an amazing woman, so genuine, and just the biggest heart for community, loves women, and is so passionate about women walking in the fullness of freedom and wholeness, just like we are over here at Living Beautifully. So without any further ado, buckle up because this is a good episode. But before we get started, I do want to give you a friendly reminder that the Holding Space starts this January. It is a free virtual group gathering for women. We will gather virtually for 90 minutes once a month. And the focus is on soul renewal, soul care. Jesus is the lover of your soul, but so many of us are disconnected from our inner worlds. And so the Holding Space is a free group that we've created to help you learn how to tend to and nurture your inner woman, your inner being, your soul. And then also I created a Bible study and we've turned it into a spiritual formation group called the Sacred Pause. If you haven't yet registered to join us in that, I'm really excited to offer it this year. We're going to be also having a monthly virtual 90-minute group gathering with more of a spiritual formation focus. So go to beautifulisalifestyle.com. We'll put the links in the description for you to register for both. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. All right. Until next week, enjoy today's episode. Well, we made it. We had a few technical issues, but here we are. We persevered.
Banning's like, why do you always have problems with technology? I was like, I don't know. It's not my problem. I have so much bigger things to deal with than if my computer works.
Yeah.
This is your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thankful he came to the rescue.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
husbands are for.
Yes. Do your
I mean,
job.
why have a husband if he's not gonna come to the rescue when there's technical issues at play?
Right. Don't make me think about these things.
It has to be said because it's such a big deal to me. So I was getting ready this morning, mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally, spiritually for our little podcast. And it just like hit me out of nowhere what a big deal this felt like for me because in 2014 I started going to Jesus Culture when you guys came to Folsom
Mhm.
and it's been home for me since and I would not be who I am. I wouldn't have overcome the things I've overcome and living beautifully, I don't think would even be here if it wasn't for Jesus Culture's influence, Authentic You's influence, the Jesus Culture School of Leadership. So much of that formed who I became, and that's influenced what I've created with Living Beautifully. So it feels like a full circle moment to have you here and to share this moment with you and to share you with the Living Beautifully community and to start 2026 off this way is it's just a really beautiful moment. And so I'm so thankful to have you here, CJ.
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor. I have loved getting to know you through the years, and our hearts connect very well.
Yeah, we are definitely, like, cut from similar cloth. We have
Yes.
very
Yes.
similar passions, and I think that's why we've gotten along so well in the last few years,
Mhm.
gotten to know each other. So I was getting ready, thinking ahead and thinking about how I wanted to start the year off with the podcast. And, typically people are all about like New Year's resolutions and starting the
Right?
year off strong. And I'm actually not. Like, I take a strong stand against that, especially as women, because we are such cyclical beings and winter is not the time to start new projects and tackle new things. Wintering is such a thing and winter is a season of resting and refreshing and refocusing. Spring is the season to have fresh starts, right? So I wanted to spend January talking about being and becoming more than doing and achieving. And I really wanted to invite you into that conversation because I feel like you live it and you lead it so beautifully. I mean, authenticity is literally what you named your women's ministry, Authentic
Mhm.
You. You have a great podcast, Authentic You. And that is one of the ways that our hearts are so deeply connected with each other. So I thought who better to have on in January than CJ to come and share some of your wisdom with us. So
Of just being. I'm very good at just being.
you're very good at just being yourself.
Yes. 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 You know what though? I just had a friend. She was processing with me, and she is a coach in the strengths of Strengths Finder. And she was laughing at me because I was like, I'm on the struggle bus. 7:30 at night hits. It's been dark for too long, and I think I should go to bed. And I feel bored in life, but I also don't have any drive to do anything. And she goes, CJ, you have impact strengths and you push really hard to accomplish all these things. And then when you don't have something that you're accomplishing, you kind of hit a almost like you're depressed. It's normal to just let yourself rest, but you have to recognize it's kind of boring, even though I don't have any drive to do anything. But like learning to be okay
Yeah.
in that even though I like to accomplish things and I like to feel like I'm moving forward, that I have to have these slower times. It's important to rest. It's important to sit in your boredom a bit and face whatever emotion you'd never looked at because you were too busy running around. So that's what I'm doing right now.
I love that. I
It's
love
not
that.
much to it.
No, but I think so many women can relate to that. I know for myself, last night I almost started crying because I had to put the dishes away in the dishwasher. And I
Yeah.
was just exhausted and I didn't wanna do it. It's just like, why am I feeling overwhelmed by these small little life things? And it's winter. It's getting dark. There's long nights. We don't have a lot of sunshine. It's really cold in California. It's not normally this cold. And I'm like, Every primal instinct is me is just wanting to go and hibernate. We can fight against it and we can force against it, but I think one of the things that we have to learn to do well, because it infiltrates everything else we do, is you have
Mhm.
to learn how to be. And I think
Yeah.
when I say you're really good at being, what I mean is you're really good at being while doing. Like, you're no matter what you do, you're fully you in it. It's never a performance. It's not even so much about the tasks that you're accomplishing. Like, yes, you're driven for impact and you're a highly influential woman, but the way that you approach everything is you're present. You're being yourself. And so I think that's what I mean when I say you're really good at being.
Yes. Yes. Well, and part of it, sorry, I will wiggle
Wiggle.
on video. I'm like, I'm gonna lay over here for a while, and then I'll be back in the middle. Um, yeah, I don't know how to perform very well. I often get people like, "Gosh, you're just so real. How do you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, I tried to perform,
Mm,
and it's embarrassing." So people that are good at it, and that's not a like a cut on them. Like people that know how to get on a stage, no matter what's going on in their life, and do their job are super impressive to me. That is not my gift mix. I If I get on the stage and things are not going well, everyone will know
yeah.
things are not going well. CJ, I mean, I don't expose everything, but I'm definitely honest. Like we may, just go into worship or go into what do we need to do because this is honestly where I feel like the Lord's taking us, not the plan I had two
Right.
days ago.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's one of the things that stood out to me as so unique to you as as a woman's pastor, as the pastor. I've met a lot of pastors' wives over my lifetime of being a Christian and a church attender.
Mhm.
I remember being a little shocked by you when I first started going to Jesus culture because I was like, this woman just doesn't care. Like, you talk about things, and of course, it's within the context of women with women, right? So,
Mm,
but you would just talk about things that probably most women in that room could relate to, but we never talk about. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I can breathe here. I can be myself here. It's okay to be human. And I feel like you live that out loud so beautifully.
I think that really came from a place when I turned 30. I'd been married to a very influential. He's traveling the world speaking. We've got 3 kids. Everybody knew who we were, which I hated. But after my third kid, I crashed and burned with anxiety. And I was having panic attacks. I didn't understand why. I was just seeking answers, therapy, doctor's visits, blood tests. I mean, looking for anything, any prayer pastor that would come through or emotional healing. I'm like, sure. I mean, I literally stopped somebody that I trusted in the hallway one time. I was like, do you see demons in me? Cast them
Mhm,
out if that will
mhm.
help. Like, because I was just so desperate. It was like it was like a 5-year journey. But the thing I longed for was to see somebody on stage talk about process and journey and not only their victory. Because every time someone would share their victory, and I would be like, yes, okay, I'm going to do that. What they did, I'm going to do. And then I don't get the victory. I felt like a failure or a huge weight. And so I was like, man, I want to be a voice for people to know just don't stop. So if the mess is big, if you're falling in a ditch, just don't stay in the ditch. Just get up and know we've all been in the ditch. And sometimes for some, it takes longer to get out. So that's a big reason when I started to just be honest. Like, let's talk about our bowel movements sometimes because you know what? Sometimes that breaks the wall down and everybody feels better because you know what? Everybody has them. That
Everybody.
everybody has that. So it's a common denominator we can all talk about. And if you try to say that you don't poop as a woman, then we have a problem and you should go to the doctor. But it does. It just calms everybody down. And now we can breathe and really get to a spot to hopefully let God meet you right where you are. You don't have to be anywhere else. You don't have to be anybody else. If you're broken, be broken with the Lord. If
Right.
you're conquering the world, you know what? Good for you. Go conquer the world. I'm not there yet, but you do that.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first started attending Jesus Culture, CJ, I would like this is 2014, so I'm going through my second divorce. I'm in a major depression. I'm so broken. A year and a half before that, I had been in a mental hospital because I'd given up on the hope of life, you know? So,
Yeah.
but here I am, like crawling in just to get there was everything. Crawling in on a Sunday. I remember sometimes I just have my hoodie over me because I was like just in so much shame and wanting to hide. And I would just sit during worship, and I couldn't even sing the songs at that time, and I remember even having moments where I was like, "Are these people lying? Like, is this even true?" Because I couldn't resonate with the words. They didn't
Yeah.
feel true to me in that moment, you know? But I think for me, Jesus Culture was that safe landing place every week that I could just go to, and I could just come as I was, and I could be with the Lord in community. You know, I
Yeah.
wasn't letting a lot of people in at that time, but I was still around other people, and sometimes that's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes just being around other people is all you can do, and that's good enough. And I mean, you know me, I am all about process now because the Lord didn't heal me in a moment from my depression. He didn't heal me in a moment from my anxiety. He didn't deliver me from PTSD in a moment. Everything that I've overcome has been through process with the Lord, and it took time, and it took consistency, and it was up and down and plot twists along the way. And so I think sometimes in spiritual communities and in more charismatic streams of the church, we can really idolize that momentary of like God came in and he did this in a moment. And does he do that? Yes, 100% he does.
Right.
But what I've learned about Jesus is that there are facets of him that you can't encounter apart from going into the process with him and letting him meet you in that mess.
Yeah. And in so many areas, just talking about that, I was like, I was sitting here thinking, I a lot of the generations now, there's a lot of awful stuff that people encounter, but there are a lot of people that live really easy lives. That sounds so bad to say, but their pain is real for them.
Yeah.
But it's a simple, people hurt their feelings. They had somebody who wasn't kind to them in their family. And for me, I'm like, this is the value of having other people around that you get to see their process. So, like what you're talking about with process, I haven't walked through divorce. So, I don't understand that pain. I don't understand the loneliness. I don't understand the feeling of shame. Like even when you talk about it, I'm like, why do you feel shame?
Mm,
Why do you feel shame? Don't feel shame. But if I don't walk with people or allow community in, I can begin to think my issues are so big and so overwhelming that you miss the beauty of growth and learning. And it's not that everybody needs to go through the pain of divorce. But you know what? If I know you, I'm going to have some understanding, some grace for others. And also, when you go through a hard thing, you could kind of pull back and go, this is painful for me, but here's my perspective. I've actually watched people walk through a family member dying or, like way bigger issues, to be honest, and be able to go, I'm going to allow myself to feel my pain, but I'm going to recognize what it is.
right.
And I just love the beauty of if you actually let people into your process, let people see it, not just that final healing that people want to talk about. Like, I've been divorced. Look at me. I'm healthy. I'm a powerful woman now. I'm like, but how'd you get there?
Yeah.
And what'd that look like? Because I know people that are in the middle of it and I don't know hope for them like you do.
You hear this a lot in church communities of people who will say I was just talking to somebody a couple weeks ago and she said it. So I've heard it a lot, people who say all I need is Jesus.
I,
What do you have to say about that
I
belief
have a,
system?
I have a nice answer and I have a straightforward CJ answer.
I would love the straightforward CJ answer if you're okay with it.
I think it's independence and I think it is not honest. I think if you want to say you only need Jesus, then that means you're not really willing to face your stuff because people are messy and you're messy and you need other people to look at you and go, "Ooh, I don't think that's right." Because when it's you and Jesus, yes, he's amazing and he leads us, but we also have our own filter. And let's be honest, like when I am making bad choices, I'm not so great at hearing Jesus when he looks at me and says, "Hey, knock it off." I'm really good at like, I think it's okay. But if you have somebody else in your life to look at you and go, "What are you doing? Why are you choosing these people in your life?" Or why are you letting those thoughts come in and speak truth to you? Or, so I think it's independence and I think it's protecting your own heart.
Oh,
And I get it. People are messy, people are scary, and people can hurt us. But that's where the growth is because ultimately we should be able to go, this is where Jesus comes in. Am I okay,
yeah.
even if someone hurts me?
Yeah.
Or do I protect myself and think I have all the answers of me and Jesus?
Right. No, that's so good. I mean, that's something I've been really realizing this last year is how, even in our conversation, you can be saying one thing and I can be hearing another. And
Yeah.
how dare we not acknowledge the fact that that can happen in our time with the Lord also,
Yeah.
like, we
Yes.
hear through our own filters, and so that's why it's so important to have people around you, especially Holy Spirit-filled believers, that the Spirit can speak through you too, and so if you think you're hearing A from Jesus and the people around you are saying B, yeah, better be willing to listen.
The Bible says we test things
Yeah,
for a reason.
yeah.
I always think this is going to be dramatic, but people who have done evil things in the world most likely started off feeling like they were doing the right thing.
CJ Hitler.
Yes, confidently doing the right thing. And you surround yourself with only the people that agree with you because you don't have real community. You just like, this is what's going on. And this is how things happen. People get skewed into crazy circumstances that I'm like, how did you start? And I mean, most things that I like to look back and go, what happened here?
Yeah,
How did you get here? How did you think, you know what, this is a good idea?
yeah,
And it started from usually a genuine thought that they were right. That I'm like, where were your people to look at
right?
you and go, hey, no,
Yeah,
not a good idea.
yeah. And in this cancel culture that we live in and this time in society where everybody the spirit of offense is just very
Mhm.
loud, a lot of people are cutting out of their lives the very challengers that they need. So you are great at taking honest feedback because you and I have had some honest
Yeah.
conversations with each other over the
Mhm.
years. You've been a super safe place for me. I mean, I've been able to share my process with you without any filters. Um, you've heard all my big questions and the wrestles I've been through
Yes.
with the Lord, my unique way of looking at things sometimes, and even just sharing things that I've experienced within our relationship.
Mhm.
And you've been
Mhm.
able to hear it all with such grace. So, I guess my first question is when you're building a relationship with people, what helps you know that this person is someone you can trust? Even if they're maybe telling you hard things, you can trust them. What helps you build trust in relationship? And then the second question would be how have you learned to become such a safe place for people yourself?
I I think if I'm totally honest, I don't need you to be trustworthy. I I trust God more than I trust you or myself. So I don't need you to prove anything to me. Now, I'm not just welcoming to everybody.
Right.
Like, oh, bring all your thoughts and dump them on me. I'm fine. I do ask the Holy Spirit for wisdom and I don't meet with everybody because ultimately, like, if you're in my life, I'm going to trust the Lord has my heart and has you, and we're going to walk it out. And I don't need you to be perfect. But I do think it comes from an ability to have your confidence in the Lord and your confidence in who He's made you way more than in validation from other people. And it takes so much work. Like, that's such a easy thing to say. I'm 49 and I am mostly good at it now. But in my 20s, any conversation with somebody, I'm spun out, or yeah, I don't know if I can let them in my life type of things. And now I'm like, oh, God's bigger than that. And I'm wiser than that.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's taken a lot of learning, but yeah, I don't feel scared of people very often, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel afraid of anybody's stuff at all. Sometimes I don't have answers. That probably helps too. I don't feel pressure to solve anything for anybody because I don't know if I know how to solve most things for my own life. So why would I think I know how to solve your life? And so that takes a weight off. I mean, I haven't had the easiest life. So it's made me value people's stories so much. And I have family members that have walked through hell, made really, really bad choices, made choices that most Christian people in church would look at as unredeemable, you know? And I've watched what God does. So for the most part, it doesn't scare me because I'm like, oh, bring it on. Let's see what God will do. Because if he did it with me, he can do it with anybody, number one. And yeah, it's just there isn't anything that bad. Just don't be a serial killer because I don't know how to help you if you're a serial killer.
You call the cops. You call the cops. That's how
Yeah,
you help them.
to talk about murder.
No,
There's Tanya. There's my line. I found it. It's
there it
murder.
is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I know we've also had really honest conversations about, and this is something you're passionate about, is not enabling really bad behavior. You're a
Yeah.
safe place, but part of what makes you a safe place, and this is part of Jesus culture's the culture of the church also, is you're not going to try to protect people or cover people from natural consequences because that is oftentimes the most loving thing that you can do. So, and that also creates an element of safety and community and in relationships
Mhm.
as well.
I feel passionate about, I'm not going to keep you or protect you from your consequence, but I'll walk with you. If you'll
Right.
face your stuff, it's the people who won't face their stuff
Yeah.
bother me more. I'm like, oh, okay, then we don't need to talk. But if you're willing to walk it out, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
then we'll walk with you,
Yeah.
you know?
I
Yeah.
remember Banning said something early days that really resonated with me at that time, and he said that he wouldn't trust anyone who didn't walk with a limp,
Mm,
and I loved that because 'cause I'm like, "That's real." Anybody who comes across as too perfect or put together, I also have a really hard time trusting their authenticity, um,
yeah.
and that feels unsafe to me. If your life's a little bit too perfect, something just feels very unhuman about that for me, and I
Yeah.
have a hard time opening up to people like that, so
Oh, yeah. I have a thing going on that I've been just processing about resilience, about fragility. And I had a conversation. There's a woman I know closely, I love. She has walked a very tender story and her struggle, and she's had breakthrough, and then it's come back. And, it's tender. When you get breakthrough and then something rears its head, you feel like, I'm a fake. How how can this happen? How can this be around again? What did I do wrong? And I was talking to her because I actually posted something on Instagram about this generation being so fragile and that they crumble over stuff. And she messaged me and she's like, how do I stop from crumbling? And
Um,
I said, well, number one, the fact that you're aware you're crumbling shows you're doing great.
yeah,
Because sometimes I think, well, most times as we're healing and growing, crumbling is part of the process. I was like, oh, I crumbled for a lot of years because I needed to crumble to get to a spot where I could grow my strength, grow my resilience, my anti fragility to life. But a lot of this comes back to allowing people to be messy around me, allowing people to share their story because sometimes I do crumble when somebody gives me feedback.
Yeah.
You're like, "Ooh, that touched something." I don't know what it touched, but it touched something. And it's my job to go and figure out it's not about them, it's about me.
Yeah.
Why did I crumble? Or why do I feel so emotional about this or hurt or like a failure? What is it touching? But it allows you, I think, to show up more authentically to people when you're willing to look at yourself and when you're willing to walk through that stuff too and even be honest. Next time you connect, wow, that actually touched something in me that I didn't know what was even in there. And here's the battle I'm fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's how you build genuine connection is you allow your inner self to be seen by others.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced your authenticity, your vulnerability or transparency um making other people uncomfortable around you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I'm learning to feel it like, oh, this person isn't comfortable going here.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Then I adjust. This is not the connection they want. They want a more professional connection, or they need just Pastor CJ to give them some pad answers, and you know what? I can do that for them because I can look and go, that's where they are. I
Yeah.
don't need them to be something that they're not. Just like I don't want them to want me to be something I'm not. But I'm not that. I can do that.
Yeah.
We probably just won't go very far.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is as far as we'll go.
Yeah.
You got 3 scripture verses that are my favorite. These encourage me, and
Yeah.
we probably won't talk again very much.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me some time because I used to take it so personally. And it took me time to realize that people are not gonna be comfortable with things within you that they're not comfortable within themselves. So, like, when you're open or free or sharing your struggle or whatever, if that hits something in them that they're not willing to look at, they're
Mhm.
not gonna wanna be in relationship with you.
Yeah.
And they might judge you and criticize you, and all their defense mechanisms might come up, and it was a painful lesson for me. I remember this one particular experience feeling so judged by these Christian women and had nothing to do with Jesus culture, but a separate place that I was at. And I started wanting to get judgmental in return. And I
Mhm.
remember sitting in my car one day, like getting my judgy self on,
Yeah.
and the Holy Spirit just inserted himself into my little self dialogue. And he was like, This is exactly what the spirit of judgment wants to do. It's coming at you so it can get in you. And the minute that you partner with it and you start judging the people that you're feeling judged by, you've just become a part of the problem, not the solution.
Mm.
That was so convicting for me. Did we have a furry friend?
Erica just crawled in and delivered me lunch. That was the best ever. I was like, the door is opening.
I thought like a pet, like, pushed their way through.
And she brought me lunch. I didn't even know. Oh, that was the cutest thing ever.
Shout out to Erica. That's a good friend. Army crawling on the carpet.
My phone on do not disturb, so she was probably texting. Yeah,
So
that's a friend.
speaking of Erica, Erica's your bestie. You guys are, like, at the hip. You guys are really, really close. I find that a lot of women struggle with close female friendships. I know,
Mhm.
like, one of my girlfriends, we've known each other since we were 19 and we're very close with each other, but she's shared with me that in her other group of friends, they have a married group of friends that they hang out with and stuff. She can't build those more vulnerable, genuine connections with women, and she's even pulled me into those circles at times, and she's like, "You get more out of these women in one
Mhm.
night with them than I've gotten in years with them." So, what do you think makes it difficult for women to build those deeper, more meaningful, genuine connections?
I think, well, I think women, a lot of us are scared to have a strong girlfriend because we don't want to fight. We don't want pettiness. There's just like, you're like, I don't have time for that. My life is so full. I don't have time for, your needs, you
Oh,
know? And
man.
so we put up walls and we only want to do fun stuff. And I would say not everybody needs to be your close person. But if you do find a friend that's like, oh, I can trust you, I think honesty and being aware of your needs. I think the other thing women do, especially married women, is you get into a habit of not requiring things out of your husband to have your needs met. Or even I know single women who aren't aware of their needs. So then they're trying to get their needs met from their friends, and their friends are being smothered to death by
Mm,
these needs. And but you're classifying it as what friendship looks like. But your version of friendship is not the same version. And if you can't have those honest conversations around, oh, like I remember when Eric and I were first friends, she was like, I could hang out with my friend every single day. She's like, that's the type of friend I am. And I'm like, I have never hung out with a friend every single day. But we just talked about it because I was like, yeah, I don't think I could do that. But because we did that, there wasn't any weird hurt feelings around it or, well, you just don't fit with me, or
right.
we just found a way to connect and walk through life, but also staying honest as the seasons change because life changes and you could easily dismiss friends and just move on to the next set of friends that fit more into your life, which I'm not even saying that's bad. Like, do you do your thing? For me, I'm not made up that way. I'm also not a big group of friends type of person because I am someone that cares about every single person in the room. So if I go to a room with a big group of girlfriends, I am sitting there going, oh, I think they feel left out. Oh, did they get a gift? I don't think they got a very good gift right now. Should we do something? And then I'm not ever having a real conversation. So I can do those. I just don't like to do those on the rate. That doesn't fill me up.
Yeah.
I want a give and take friendship more. But yes, I think once again, if you don't know yourself and you don't know your own needs and boundaries, then you're not going to be a very good friend to anybody.
Yeah,
And it's hard to build anything.
definitely. One of the things that I really advocate through Living Beautifully is that time in self-reflection, that time in solitude, that time in the presence of the Lord where you're allowing yourself to be searched and you're learning yourself. And I think one thing that I haven't focused so much on, and that's why I'm starting the year off with this, is that there is also an element of learning yourself through the genuine connection with
Mhm.
others. For me, it was I had to kind of learn me with my own presence and with the Lord and understand the self-reflection grows self-awareness, right? So the more that I can self-reflect and think, well, why did that bother me? And what did that trigger
Yes.
in me? And what is
Yes.
it telling me that I need? And maybe there's a boundary that I need to set for myself more than for other people, right? Because
Right.
people are
Right.
really big on making boundaries about others, and it's really mostly about you.
Yes.
Um, but then being able to take that to the next step and start sharing that with others. And there are things like I don't even think I told you this, but I just got on a dating app in November for the first time in like 10 years.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
But CJ, like I've gone through so much healing and the Lord recovered so much in me, but November things got triggered, like, because I was in a realm. I love the analogy of the Israelites going into the promised land and how they took it territory by territory. They didn't go in and just take over completely. And I feel like that's our journey of sanctification with the Lord. We come into our promised land and he helps us slay the giants one territory at a time. And so I took on a new territory. I put myself in a realm that I hadn't been in 12 years. And I put myself in the dating realm and some old giants popped back up. And I was just like, "Ooh, haven't seen these in a while." And instead of feeling defeated or discouraged by it, I've actually learned through my process with the Lord that that's oftentimes just a sign of expansion. Like, okay, we're taking on something new and some old stuff is going to come up to the surface.
Yes.
But now we get to work through excavating that out of our being as well. So
But people love to just run at that point.
100%.
Like, don't face it. It's everybody else's issue. I remember I met this lady. I was in a season where I didn't really have a close friend. My friends had moved and I was kind of lonely. And I met this lady and we had like the same signs in our house. Our kids were the same interests. We were so similar. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have found my friend. And then I hit a rough spot. And she was kind. There was nothing, she didn't do anything wrong. But through the process, it was all of a sudden I just kind of realized like, oh, she's she's probably not the friend I need. And she didn't want to be there the way I would have liked her to be. And I absolutely could have run with like I'm too much. I'm, whatever, or I don't know. There were a whole bunch of negative things. But in the end, I was like, oh, it either wasn't the right time or we were not meant to be great friends. There was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with her and there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a fight. It wasn't anything negative. But I
Yeah.
thought, I know so many girlfriends that would tell this story as a pain point and a rejection or a sign that they just can't have friends. And I was like, oh, wow, if you step back and look at it, she wasn't the friend for me right now.
Yeah.
I wasn't the friend for her right now. And that instead of it being a message about her or about me, to just trust the Lord.
Yeah. And not make yourself the victim and villainize the person that's quote
Yes.
unquote triggering your pain or causing your pain.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on victims. I could have a long podcast talking to victims and like
Maybe we should have you back for that one. That would be a fun conversation to share with you.
I probably would crush people that don't need to be crushed because once again, I do believe in process.
Of course.
And all of us can start off thinking we're victims in life. For me, I'm like, just as long as you keep growing, I'll be okay with you. But if you still are a victim at 70, we're going to have issues. I might fight you.
Yeah. I mean, my turning point was when I realized I went from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "Why is this happening to me?" It morphed from this, like, powerless self-pity whine to this genuine, curious, self-reflective, like, "Hold on, I am the common denominator here. Why do I keep attracting these type of men? Why do I keep getting into these types of relationships? Like, what can I change in me to create a different outcome in my reality?" I'm
Yeah.
huge on personal accountability.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
big on just self awareness. Do you not notice when you start to talk other people's faces? Like, hey, CJ, maybe you should quiet down. You're yelling at everyone in the room, even though you think you're talking at a normal voice. It's just simple things like that. We got to grow. I am a really loud talker.
yeah,
If I never adjust that and continue to yell at everyone, pretty soon people might not want to be around me as much.
yeah,
And then I could feel sorry for myself,
yeah,
or I could just go, CJ, learn how to quiet your voice.
yeah. But no, I think too, speaking of you talked about your relationship with Erica and like having those hard conversations. And I think sometimes in relationship, whether it's marriage, best friendship, family relationships, there's this idea in our culture of I don't need to change for anybody. I shouldn't have to
Oh,
change for anybody. And I just think that's like a lie from the pit of hell because
absolutely.
not changing the core of who you are. You should never have to change the core of who you are. But relationships are about two people adjusting and adapting towards one another.
Well,
And relationships are absolutely meant to refine and purify us. And so,
yes.
yes, we should absolutely be changing because of the relationships that we're in. Do you agree?
Oh, I mean, if you do that, like to me, a good friendship, marriage, relationship should make you a better person
Yeah.
because you allowed their strengths to wear on you. And like I said, like being friends with you, hearing your story, it helps me be a better me because I'm now aware of people who have walked through what you've walked through, or with your personality. You are a deep spiritual person. And I'm a very competitive person. So a competitive person who wants to win everything can run over people that want to slow down and have a spiritual moment. And I don't actually want to do that, but I wouldn't have recognized I do that without walking with you and watching you slow down and having moments where I'm like, ooh, if I push her right now, or if I just roll in and don't listen, she's going to experience me as not caring. So then it makes me pay attention to other people as like, oh, I don't want to roll over people in my, like, I'm excited about something and I want to win. I don't even know what I'm winning. I have competitions in my head, or, I'm going to win. I don't even know what I'm going to win, but I am always winning in my head. So that's good.
Are you winning right now? Are you winning on this podcast?
I'm winning so much right now because you know why I'm winning?
Why?
Because my eyelashes.
Oh, we have to acknowledge the eyelashes.
And it's a decent hair day. Like it's not special, but I was like, I kind of like my hair.
Yeah. I
So that,
noticed your eyelashes right away.
yeah, they're falling out a bit. So that's why I keep having to reach into my glasses to try to make sure one doesn't fall into my eye. But no, it doesn't take much for me to win. Let's
Yeah.
just be clear. This is
I love
a competition, but if there is an Olympics of confidence in yourself, I think I would win gold.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, and that's one way you've rubbed off on me over the last few years because we just started getting to know each other end of, like, 2021, beginning of
Yeah.
2022, and but we've also gotten to work with each other pretty closely,
Hmm.
and you are like you do have this inner confidence and you're just kind of this go-getter, whereas I'm a little bit more cautious and hesitant and I can take things more personally and and being in relationship with you has been one of those things where I'm like, no, it's okay. I don't have to be this way. I can be that way if I want to be. And that will probably serve me far better than this. Right. So it's not changing myself, it's evolving myself, it's growing myself because you get around people that are different than you and they if you let yourself, iron sharpening iron, like, you can be
Yes.
refined by that.
And
So
it's not confidence in I am the best or the best looking or the most talented or any of that. It's actually nothing external.
no.
It's like, I'm like, oh no, I think God made me on purpose.
Yeah,
And I'm very aware I do a ton of stuff wrong and I have a ton of stuff that I need to work on. I just don't feel bad about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So, I'm like, I'm okay. Like, if I would have showed up with dirty hair, I still would have felt pretty good
You would have.
doing
You would have.
this.
You have a strong inner sense of security within yourself, but I know that it's cost you to get there. I know you haven't always been that way.
Ton of work, ton of work. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so question for you,
Hmm.
and we've talked about this before. Authenticity is a little bit of a buzzword, but it can mean different things to different people.
Right.
So what does authenticity mean to you?
Yeah. I probably don't agree with most of the buzzword meanings of it now because I think it doesn't mean to me, we'll start there,
Okay.
that you can be who you are at the expense of everybody else. So I don't get to talk about passing gas everywhere I go, and everyone has to be okay with it because that's who I am. Right? Or if I have a job and I'm tired and I need more sleep than I'm getting, I don't get the sleep that I would like to get. I need to do my job. So I feel like that's where it's gone. Like, well, this is just who I am. Well, who you are needs to grow up and care about other people. So for me, it is, though, taking time to know yourself and then not pretending to be somebody you're not. So you may not do great with not having a lot of sleep at work, or you're not naturally an extrovert. Knowing that about yourself doesn't mean you can't be a great, friendly person, but you do it your way. Like, okay, I'm not an extrovert. I can't be like CJ who loves to say hi to everyone, but I can be friendly in my way. That would be what I think authentic is. Or with Authentic You, with our ministry, the women on my team, I really want them to bring what does God have in you? Now, it doesn't mean you go do your own thing, but how can you bring you? I don't need a whole bunch of me's. It's going to be irritating.
Yeah.
But what can you bring that God's put in you that'll make this better, make the world, make the environment better, make your job better?
Yeah.
Because He doesn't make mistakes with people, but we also don't all need to be minions running around.
Yeah.
Does that help? Is
Yeah.
that a good answer?
Yeah. No, I I agree. I think that, like you said, authenticity today in the world means, like, you being true to yourself.
Yes.
And when you think about the word, because I'm totally a words girl, so authenticity, like, if something is authentic or not, it has everything to do with its origin of where it comes from,
Right.
right? If I'm gonna get a Prada bag, well, there's counterfeit Pradas and there's authentic Pradas, and the authentic Prada is authentic because it comes from Prada. So
Right.
for me, authenticity is about being true to your divine design. It's about being true to who God created you to be. And anything outside of that is not authentic. And I think, too, something I've been learning is the difference between personality and identity. I think a lot of people mistake personality for their identity.
Hmm.
And personality is what we become through the experiences that we have, the home cultures that we grow up in, how we try to survive our childhoods. And we all have different personality bends, but a lot of people are claiming as their identity well, I'm just an impatient person, or I just get angry. Like, it's the personality. This is just who I authentically am. But I'm like, well, but love is patient though. So is that really who you are, or is that just what you've become because of the things you've been through in life? And can you unbecome that and become more of a
Yes.
true version of yourself?
Right. Or I think people also put their feelings on their personality and their identity. And our feelings are not either. Being impatient is actually not even a personality. You allow yourself to feel irritated when you're waiting. Like, that's actually not a personality. That's just you choosing to be irritated. Instead, just say, you know what? I'm pretty impatient.
Yeah.
Don't like to wait. But once again, that's not who God made you.
No.
You chose to be.
No.
Like Banning can't be like, you know what? My personality is I'm an interrupter. No, he interrupts and he works on it so hard, but it's a struggle. Okay. Struggle. And he interrupts. And I interrupt now even more because
He's
I'm
rubbed off on you.
and the only way you get something in is if you interrupt. So now our whole family interrupts. But that's not a personality. That is a behavior we have chosen.
Yeah.
But I'm now making it my identity.
Yeah.
It's who I am. I'm
It's
an
who I
interrupt.
am.
No.
Yeah, it's who I am. No, a lot of people are legit in our culture. They're taking highly dysfunctional traits
Oh
and
my gosh.
claiming it as their identity. This is who I am. I'm like, This is highly dysfunctional and even toxic." And you're owning it. You're coming into agreement with it, and you're just fully embodying it. The truth is you were created in the image and likeness of God. Anything outside of that is not true, no matter what you feel about it.
Or sensitivity. I'm a sensitive person. I'm like, yes. Yes, you are maybe a more tender person. You are affected by other people, but that is not who you are. It
Yeah,
doesn't get to run you.
yeah,
If that probably I would say is what the difference is. Like you can say I'm a sensitive person, but you grow in it.
yeah,
It's like when we're kids, we cry easily because we're moved by this person. And I'm not saying it's bad to cry easily when you're moved by people, but you begin to grow where it's not like you can't function because you just heard someone's sad story.
yeah,
You can be sad for them and still go on in life.
yeah.
if you have a job to do, if you're unable to sit and just let yourself go, man, I'm really moved by that person's story. You can go, I've grown. I can do what I need to do. Maybe I'll be sad later. This is all part of the choices that help us be who we are.
Right.
Like God did make people more sensitive, more tender-hearted towards other, but it shouldn't be to run us.
Right, right, and that's the key. That's what you just said is key. It shouldn't be running us. I think the very things that God gave us that could be our strengths
Mhm.
can be in from a place of brokenness can then become our constraints, right? So, because I am a highly sensitive person and it was constraining for me for a very long time, but I've learned how to use that as almost like my superpower now.
Mhm.
It's why I'm so good at emotionally attuning myself to others and I've learned how to manage my life in a way that allows me to show up as a powerful person
Mhm.
and not be like, "Oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't here and all these boundaries that make you live a really small life. You were not created to live a small life. You were created to live an expansive life."
Exactly. I mean, I used to be taken out. I would be around somebody, and I'm more of a feeler. So I wouldn't even fully know what it was, but I would just be hanging around somebody and I wouldn't even know their story. And then I feel sad. I feel scared. I feel overwhelmed. And I'm like at home, like, I'm not okay. But nothing's changed in my life.
Yeah,
And I could still be there, affected by everybody, run by everybody else's stuff that I feel. Or I learned to go, all right, Lord, what is that? Oh, okay. I think something's going on with them. So that means I can pray for them in the way that I'm feeling, if the Lord gives me some wisdom. And then I have to go, oh, that's not mine. So I'm not going to choose to walk in that
yeah,
and hold on to it like it's mine. But if we don't grow in some of our natural giftings or tendencies that the Lord's put in us, then we do become victims to them.
yeah,
Instead of it being a strength, it is completely our takedown. Like, I mean, it's a great picture of people that are impatient. God actually makes people driven, focused people, but it can be taken to such a negative side
um,
when we can't wait for somebody else or they can't adjust in a moment to go, you know what, it's not going the way I wanted it to. And this is taking longer, or these people are behind, and now they're taken out.
yeah.
And so it's learning to go, I don't have free reign to allow my strengths or my weaknesses to become who I am.
Yeah.
I would love if people would line up and I could tell them where I think they need to grow up. Could you set that up for me?
Yeah. It's like,
It calls this menopause, CJ. Menopause CJ has opinions and she's not afraid to say it.
"Oh, I like it."
But menopause CJ feels bad a couple days later when hormone rage has come down.
Oh gosh, what's my excuse, CJ? I'm not near menopause yet, but I just can't help but calling people out. It's I think God created me as a challenger, and I've had to learn how to for it, but I am like a box breaker and I am the challenger, and I'm the one who's gonna tell you the hard truth that you may not wanna hear because you have to hear it and somebody has to tell you, and a lot of people are not gonna tell you because they all take the easy road and everybody wants to be liked, and I just can't help myself. As much as I wish I could, I can't help it. But I have learned how to do it in a much kinder way.
Yes. Or Banning's like, wow, you just dove into that, didn't you? Because I'm like, is anybody going to say anything? Is anybody going to go like, hey, that was rude? My thing is I'm like, do you know why that bothers you so much? It's like it feels so clear to me. Do you
Yeah.
not see your behavior is connected to something way further back? Can we just dive into that right now? And
Yeah.
they're like, please don't talk about my mother wounds right now.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
So that's what I've had to learn. Oh, we don't, not everybody's ready to dive into pain for a moment. I've
Yeah.
actually done a few things with my own parents that I was like, oh, that's not welcome. What are you doing, CJ?
Mm.
But if you have, like those are the things you have to grow in to go like, not everybody's inviting that. even though I think they should invite me. Like, hello,
Uh-huh.
let me solve your problems. Super good at it.
Yeah.
Talker.
Yeah.
Also in menopause. So not only do I know the answer for everyone else, I can fix things. Like dishwasher breaks, no problem. I'll solve it. I literally fix my own dishwasher. Bannon comes home and he's like, "What did you do?" As it's like yanked out of the wall. I've drained it, found and he's like, "Why didn't you call a repairman?" I'm like, "It's $75 for them just to come out here. And you know what? I figured it out."
That's impressive.
No, menopause CJ has powers.
I love it. It's that testosterone brain. You're getting more singular focus. You can focus on it until you work it through, and that diffused awareness from all that estrogen is not overtaking your brain anymore.
Estrogen, yeah. I will say the other stuff that's going on in menopause sucks,
Ooh,
though.
okay.
People, I'm going to write a book one day. Banning says I have to wait till my mom passes away, which is going to be in forever because she's super young. And I just want a book that says what my mom didn't tell me. And
Mm,
it's not really about my mom. It's
no.
just a generalized what I wish my mom would have told me.
Yeah.
Just simple things like, hey, be nice to your in-laws because they're going to be with you forever. Or, yeah, like things about your nipples. There's just things. There's just information that as a woman, I do better with information. And then I don't freak out and have to go to the doctor. I'm like, oh, it's normal.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so to circle it back to community, this is where community comes in handy because you can be talking about the things that your mom never told you is normal. You're talking openly with other female friends and you're going, "Oh, wow, this is normal." Or on the other hand, also, it can be like, "Oh, this is not normal." Because me, when all of my childhood trauma started to surface in my early 20s, and I just thought like, well, this is just the way that I am. This is just how I think. This is just the way that I am. And I went to my very first community recovery group and I started hearing other women's stories. And that's when I realized, oh, this is not who I am. These are symptoms of what I went through. This is not normal. It's not normal to be this way. This is a symptom of something.
Stories for you where I had that moment too. You're going to love these. Number one, I think I was in college. And I was like, did you guys ever, like, you remember when you thought there was a TV camera that was always following you and you would talk to them? And like, you had your own show and like, you would tell them what you were doing and stuff. And they were like, no. I'm like, you never went through that? I had years that I talked to my own TV camera. I think I was lonely.
Or you were just destined to have your own reality show. Come on, let's have it. IRL with the Liebschers. I would be watching that show 100%.
There's a lot of laying around with cats. I don't know. I think it would be boring. And then the other one was, this will sound sad. That one's funny. This one's sad. Since I was about 6 years old, I have been sure there was someone trying to kill me.
Mm.
So I would, at all times, like we had a code to get up our driveway, and I would pull up and I'd be looking because the killer obviously hides, waits for me all the time for me to put my arm out, and they're going to grab my arm to pull me out to kill me. I was so fast at that code. Doors locked really good. Then the other way, they had a sniper rifle, and my bedroom had windows. So I would crawl in every night into my room and do the shades. Like, so I'm telling these things, or I would, this is sad, I would pee in a cup or any container I had in my room because the killer also was waiting for me to go to the bathroom.
Whoa,
They
okay.
can't kill me in my room.
No, that's your
They
safe
can't,
zone.
they can't get in there.
Yeah, as
But if,
long as you're crawling around in it.
if I left, they'd kill me. And so some, I mean, this was like into my marriage, like quite a few years. I would go into the closet, look in,
Wow.
And I was talking to somebody and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you ever feel them behind you? They're behind you. You can feel them, right? No, crazy. Those are things I learned to quit saying to as many people.
Okay.
I've gotten healing. That's, I realized there was some stuff there that happened to me as a kid that
Yeah.
created this fear and dealt with that, but I didn't know that it was something not normal.
Right. Yeah.
And my imagination is big. So I go even bigger with my fears of, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I think there was somebody with a sniper rifle? And why am I that important?
Yeah.
Maybe this is the inner confidence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the root of it all, it was just you not feeling safe. You feeling
Yes.
like you were always hyper vigilant and always being on alert and always feeling like you had to protect yourself.
Mhm,
Your
mhm.
imagination created the narrative around to reinforce those feelings that you were feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. And I was pretty confident I could defeat everybody unless they had a gun. So you could come at me with a knife. You could try to box me. I was like 7 years old and I thought I could beat somebody. So
You were really self-assured.
why? I don't
Yeah.
know. I was
Coping
like,
mechanism. Coping mechanism.
pounds. and and I had a karate stance. This was how I would defeat the knife attack. I still, if I get really scared and I'm by myself, if somebody had a camera and caught me, this is a reaction that happens.
Okay.
So if you see me ever like that, no, that's a true terror moment. Is this your best podcast you've ever done?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I've laughed the most, but I was expecting that because I've told CJ this before, but you legit could be a stand-up Christian comedian. You are hilarious. You cannot go to an authentic you event without piddling in your underwear a little bit. Like, she makes you laugh so hard.
Except for it's not on purpose. People are like, oh my gosh, you used to be a stand up comedian. I'm like, guys, if I wrote jokes out, they wouldn't be funny.
No, but you don't even need to. Like, you're just a natural. It goes back to you just being you. Like, you just get on a stage, put a mic in her hand, and get ready to laugh hard.
It's also because the things that I just think are weird. People are like, whoa, what did she just say? I'm like, oh, you don't think that?
Yeah.
Not everybody thinks that.
Yeah. Sometimes it is that, like, awkward laugh. The crowd gives that, like, we don't know how like, what did our pastor just say? We don't know how to
Okay.
respond to
Yeah.
this.
No, I told a story about farting one time.
I remember.
I did not think was that big of a deal. It did not feel like that vulnerable. And somebody on our team walked by the back guys who were doing sound and they were like, why is she saying this? Like,
Yeah.
I
That
was
was
all,
like but that was, like, if I remember correctly, that was, like, on a Sunday morning, right? That was Yeah, I think it would have landed a little bit better with just a women's I think it was the men that were, like, shook because they've never heard a woman talk about this on a
well, it
platform.
happens though. We all do it.
Everybody does.
Everybody does.
Everybody
Everybody
does.
does. Did you know that one of my podcasts is explicit because I said a certain word too many times?
No.
It's talking about my duck. I don't want to say it on here because I don't want you to get an explicit podcast. I told the story about the duck. So the podcast is listed as explicit.
So has that episode gotten more views because of its explicit rating?
Once I don't go check those things. I'm like, I'm probably,
What? Yes.
I don't know. I've got 4 listeners, but I faithfully put it out.
Oh, you have more than 4 listeners. I'm sure you do. So, yes. Okay, so we should probably start landing the plane. This has been so much fun, though. We had really good conversation, really good laughs, looking at women with the world, where the world is at, the pressures that they feel societally. Like, what do you think women are needing in this season?
Well, I think they need to figure out who they are more than what the world tells them they are. And I think a lot of that is opinions and feelings. We are so run by other people's opinions. And then our feelings get all jacked up because if somebody makes a good reel that moves me, don't you feel that inside of you sometimes? Like, yeah, oh my gosh, I am moved for this cause. And then you're like, hold on a second. Hold on. Do you even know if that's real?
Right.
What they're talking about. So we aren't based on who we are, even in reality. It's like all a false pretense of what we're trying to put on. So for me, it's women step back, take time to know yourself. And of course, that involves knowing the Lord because who he says you are is is who you really are.
Yeah.
And when you can get to that, then the rest of the stuff doesn't throw you. People don't throw you. Hard things don't throw you. We still cry. We still sometimes have to lay in bed because of the hard thing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't change who we are or change what we believe.
Yeah.
We're not tossed to and fro any longer. So for me, it's women stepping back, taking time, shutting off all the outside noise of social media, getting some real people in their life. I think if we quit, I had a moment, this is going to sound silly and I don't want to bring up political stuff necessarily, but when the whole autism thing came out, I had a friend who was really outraged over it. But and I don't have a problem with people being bothered by it, but I actually am in a community of people with children with autism. And on social media, it was like people were crushed by what was said. They were, how could this happen? And I mean, just the president who said it is awful, blah, blah, blah. But in this community of people who are actually affected by it, they actually didn't care. They
Mm.
were like, I take care of my kid. This is what I do. And it doesn't matter what this person says. And it was just oh my gosh,
Yeah.
why are we so affected? Social media, I don't think is honest. It's not a clear representation of what everybody is feeling and thinking. Cause I'm like, these are the real ones.
Yeah.
Like they have nonverbal, non-functioning autistic kids. And they did not care. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be affected by this anymore.
Yeah.
I want to walk with real people
Yeah.
who are in it. And then if they care, I want to pause and go, okay, well, tell me why you care. Help me understand better. I don't want my opinion to run me. I want to know, to help me understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kind of went off a rabbit trail, shocker. But
Yeah.
that's what I think. Know who you are.
Yeah, and don't let external influences dictate that for you.
No.
I think we have so much pressure, like, there's so many opinions, right? In the end times, people are gonna be lovers of their own opinions, and, like, that's
Mhm.
totally the time that we live in, and I like to say that there's a difference between opinion and perspective, because opinion is your own thought about something, and a
Sure.
lot of the time, opinions are not even substantiated, but a perspective has everything to do with your position, right? So
Mhm.
people have sometimes clearer perspective than us on things because of their positioning. Perspective matters, opinion does not.
Right.
So you have to find people who are standing, and I know this is huge in Jesus culture, you guys talk about that, having people speak into your life that are further along in different
Yes.
areas than you are,
Yes.
right? I think Einstein said, the same level of consciousness that creates the problem can't solve it. So if there's a problem in your life, you can't fix it on your own. You're the one that's creating it. You have to go and find someone who's better off in that area, whether it's relationships, marriage, finances,
Mhm.
health, whatever it is, spirituality, whatever it is. Go find someone who's where you want to be and then learn from their perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the things that are facing the world right now that everybody has 1,000 opinions about and they fight over, I'm like, go talk to somebody who's really walking that life.
Yeah.
That lifestyle that you either promote or disagree with. Do you know anybody?
Yeah.
Are you actually talking to them? Are you
Yeah.
walking with them? What do you know?
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't know anything, shut up.
Yeah.
There's my opinion. Also, we cannot be swayed by people who just have a natural gifting.
Yeah.
And
Speak into that.
yeah, there are people that are so good on camera or so creative, and we're all of a sudden following them. And whatever they say is now gold. And I'm like, I know what it was like when Jesus culture was in its heyday. People would line up. I am falling apart in life, falling apart. I am doing the best I can to keep my kids alive, to keep me alive, to just do life well. And they would pull me aside and ask me these questions about their life like I was all knowing. And I would look at them like, I actually would say to them, I'm a real person just like you.
Mhm.
I have no idea how to solve your problems. But I'm like, if people looked at me like that, and I wasn't even on the stage, I was just married to the man on the stage. We cannot idolize someone who has a gift and then take what they say as truth. That that's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. You got it. The fruit. It's about the fruit.
Yes.
You got to judge the tree by its fruit.
Yeah. Or you can like something they say once. It doesn't mean everything they say is gold.
Yes. Yeah. They don't have to be the expert on
No,
everything. Yes.
no, this moved me. This impacted me. That doesn't mean everything they do is perfect.
Yeah.
We're not sheep that are just influenced by whatever is the trend to be influenced by.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's good. That's good. Thanks for being here. This was so much fun.
you're welcome. Do you see my light turned off?
I do. Yeah.
I put a fancy light on my computer and it turned off.
I just turned
That was
off.
as fancy as I could be.
I know. He was so sweet. You're like, "Well, I don't care." He's like, "Well, Tanya might." Like, he's just I love
Like,
Banning.
yeah,
Um, so CJ, Authentic You podcast, you wanna talk about that? Where can people find it?
I don't know. Probably what podcasts are.
We will we will drop some links in our little I don't know things either. I don't even know what it's called, the little description of this episode. We're gonna pop in the link so you can find Authentic You. Do you have any plans for Authentic You 2026 yet?
So I I go along with moods. So we did seasons for a while. We're bringing in guests, and that was really good. But I'm feeling a little bit like we need to switch back to conversations, but I'm not sure what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We do a monthly just chat, and I really love that. So I don't know. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see. But there'll be a new season that we'll record sometime in January or February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll add the link so people can find it. And
Perfect.
then what about Authentic You Women's Ministry at Jesus Culture? Do you guys have anything planned for January or February?
March is our next event
Okay.
on my calendar, but I'll get the dates for you.
Okay. We'll plug that into the description too.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I love you so much.
Love you too. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's fun.
Yes.
And then we'll see you guys next week.